Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Monday.
Good morning, everyone.
Good to see your smiling faces.
I know.
Absolutely. With nice fresh
You
trim.
got the hair all tightened up, Jurgen.
Yeah. I did it this morning, like with my no. No, the pandemic isn't in that spot where I'm giving myself haircuts again. So definitely don't want to do that one more time. Hey, so why are we here? What are we doing this morning?
We've got talent talk.
Yes.
We always bring in a great guest, someone in our field to come in, chop it up with us, talk a little bit, and share some knowledge. Love it.
You know what? Appropriately, you said chop it up because, in a way, that's what our guest today does.
That's very true.
True. We talked about haircut. Yeah.
Good morning.
That too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. It led right in, huh?
Right.
Talking about getting trims.
Mm-hmm. So we are going to talk. We're going to have some talk about lawn care actually today. And we have a special guest that is going to be joining us. And before we do that, we typically have a trivia question. Do we have a trivia question today? Or is that a trivial question?
I think we got a trivia question today. And this always kind of leads into our guest that we have on. And our trivia question for today is, according to a survey, the average homeowner devotes how many hours per month on lawn care work?
I started smiling the moment I heard, according to a survey. Which survey?
According to a survey.
Right. 0. No, I was kidding.
Yeah. Survey says.
The average homeowner. Huh. That's a good one.
I know. This one has me stumped. I'm trying to find the least amount of hours there.
Stumped, No, sorry.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Right.
All right. So, no, you didn't get those answers quite yet. Oh, and Donna's already got a guess of C.
Kim.
Kim's got an A.
What are the options again? 12 hours. Okay. This is a month or this is a year, right?
Per month.
A month.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
If it were per year, this would be very bad.
That would be more like me per year. 12 hours. Let's see, a month. I figure
12, 24, 17, or 32.
Boy, this one's a hard one for me.
Donna's guessing 17.
I'll go for A.
And
I'm going A.
Have a guess of 12. All depends. I actually will go with 17 as well. I'm gonna stick with the wife on this one because now this is not necessarily the homeowner themselves because they may just be bringing in somebody like our guest to help them out because I know there are people that are passionate about getting in with their lawn, and there are people that are passionate about having a very nice lawn or yard, but don't like getting down into it. And unfortunately, I fall into the latter. No, not the ladder, not like standing on the side of it.
That's why your lawn can't get done because the ladder's in the way.
Yeah, I just keep falling into a ladder. It's weird.
Oh, man. All right. Well, you know what? We have a guest that actually has a passion for both, making it look good and putting in the time. And he started a business because, actually, let's talk to him about why he started this business. He is here with us, has owned this local lawn care service for over 20 years and has been in this industry for even longer than that. We are going to welcome on amazing guy. I mean, and in our communities, we see his signs everywhere. So it's been a mystery. This is the first time I'm meeting him. And this is like a treat, everyone. So we are going to give it up for Jeff Blank with Blademasters Lawn Service.
Yay!
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Jeff.
Good morning, Jeff.
Welcome,
Look at you in the car
welcome.
working.
Yeah, early bird.
Catches the worm, right?
Mows the worm. Yeah.
Oh,
Well, then don't you just create two worms? Like, don't worms grow? Is that a myth that if
No,
you cut a
that's
worm in
just-
half, it?
They're segmented. They have several
So you'll
hearts.
end up with
Actually,
two worms.
you can end up with more than one worm. Better for fishing.
really? I did not know that. So that's a whole nother show. So if you cut a worm in half, you'll have two.
You can have two.
Huh. Interesting. Wow. Well, we will get into the worm talk later. But yes, Christina says, welcome, Jeff. And we are like really glad to have you on. And we've actually wanted to have someone on for lawn care for quite a while. And most of us have, in the Northwest, we have grass, right? We have lawns, and we all are, a lot of us look at our neighbors and saying, oh, wow, their yard looks great and maybe mine needs some help. But you haven't done this forever. Give us some background. Like, why did you start a lawn care service? Tell us about you, Jeff.
Out of high school and into college, I was doing landscape on the side, a little part-time here and there to provide for myself. And then I became a firefighter lieutenant out at Central Pierce Fire and Rescue. And then also became a critical care nurse for Mary Bridge Children's Hospital. And with my schedules, we still had other days off. My firefighting schedule was only 10 days a month. So between doing the nursing some days and doing some landscaping for a buddy of mine. And then back in 2000, I had gotten injured on the job and received a 100% disability, but chose not to take that route. I wanted my 4 children to see dad providing and working. And so I had 3 friends that had landscape businesses that kind of took me under their wing and helped me get started, and rest is history. I've been down here in DuPont since a little after 2000, and my wife and I have lived down here. Love it down here. Love our neighbors down here.
You're in a great community, definitely.
Yes.
So you've been doing this for a little while now, haven't you, Jeff?
A little while. As a kid, I grew up on my grandparents' farm, and Grandma was all about the gardening. She had her stuff in Better Homes and Garden a couple of times. We've been on DIY. A few of our yards have been on DIY over the last 15 years. 3 times down here, twice in DuPont, once in Lacey. And so it's nice. We like to help our neighbors. If they want to do their own stuff, we're happy to answer questions for them. I love to see people getting into taking care of their own yard. It doesn't have to be a English garden or a fancy garden, but just take some pride and ownership.
Absolutely. So, Jeff, what type of scope of services do you provide?
We provide either I do all the weekly maintenance on yards, cleanups, pruning, stuff like that. I've got 2 brothers that do the big landscape jobs because of my back. I can't do the heavy 2-man stones and stuff like that. But they do the irrigation, the fences, and the retaining walls, the pavers and fire pits and things like that. And I just do a lot of the maintenance side of things, help plan stuff with individuals, answer questions, field them from the neighbors here, what to do in their yard to make it better. And I do it on a budget for them. I've got a family and grandkids too, so I know how things can be tight sometimes. So we give them different options to look at things, because their home is a big investment for them. It's probably the biggest investment that they'll ever make in their life. And down here in DuPont, being a primarily military-based family, a lot of times it's only for 3 to 4 years and they're moving on. Some of these folks are using it as an investment. Some are using it as a forever home. They want to come back here. So just trying to help them plan things accordingly to what their plans are.
Jeff, there's so many different things that as we go through, like what you do, I think this is actually going to be a really fun conversation with you, because you do touch on so many different things, and doing what we do in real estate, be it like you're mentioning with investment properties or your own personal property, and the enjoyment that we can get out of just having a really nice lawn to be able to run around or even be able to show off, like in Better Homes and Gardens.
Uh-huh.
But right now it is nearing the end of the season. So David had mentioned, we wanted to get someone on board. We just didn't get it lined up. We should have given you a call. We didn't think about it right away. So we're getting towards the end of the season, and a lot of people are starting to think, well, why should I worry about my lawn now? What are some things that you do all these things, but what are some things that people should be considering to do with their lawn or their landscaping at this time?
Well, this time of year, we're finally starting to cool down a little bit, and that's a good thing. The pruning needs to be done up. I know the HOA has been around and reminding our neighbors, getting the porches cleared, the trees off these houses, because if you look at a lot of our houses down here, either have the arborvitae or the cedar trees or the maples up against the house. And you want to get that off the side of the house before fall gets here and the rains get here, because that's going to hold the moisture on the wood. And we all know who live down here, the wood isn't the best primer on there. And even with some really good paint, you still stand an issue of it causing some wood rot or some mold issues. As far as the lawn goes, getting it prepared for winter. So this time of year here, within the next month and a half, we recommend a crane fly treatment. The people call those the mosquito eater bugs. Well, they don't eat mosquitoes. That's a myth. What they do is they lay eggs in your yard, and you'll see them flying out of the grass when they're starting to hatch. And they turn in what's called a leatherback grub. It's about 1.5 inch, 2 inch long worm. It's really big, like an eraser, pencil eraser. And what they do is they spend that grub portion of their life in larvae, eating nothing but the root of your lawn. So you'll see these houses that are starting to get these bare patches in places. If they don't have a dark green ring around them from someone's dog using it as a bathroom, then most likely it's the crane fly issue. And we've got a company down that we use that we've been recommending for years down here. We don't personally do it, they do. But because we've got them so much business down here, I think it's like $42.50 for a liquid application. It's once in the spring for the European version, and then you have the North American version of the crane fly in the fall. And so it's twice a year. But if you use some of the other companies, it's quite a bit more. You only need to have those. But that is something that we do recommend. And then a good fall fertilizer. You can get it yourself. You can go to the local hardware store and get a nice fall fertilizer. But read the instructions on it. We encourage everybody, because a lot of people over fertilize. And if your grass is spending all this time making a tall stem, it's not making its time making those deep roots. And those deep roots are what we need to water less and to have a healthier yard.
Wow. That was
I feel like you're giving us some life lessons here in this,
It's like a class right here on.
Spend it making,
Wow.
Things you pick up over the years.
Yeah.
Lots of reasons.
Awesome. Hey, Penny's got a question for you. Can you recommend, do you have somebody that you maybe recommend or know in Snohomish that does this, or do you actually go up to Snohomish?
I do. I only do DuPont. I do not leave DuPont. I don't want to go on the freeway. You can't pay me enough.
We get that.
There's just no money in it. It's like anybody driving a truck for a living. They'll tell you, we don't make any money when we're stopped at a light. We only make money when we're moving. Well, same with us down here. We only can do so many yards in a day. And if I have to spend that time driving to Lacey, I could have did 3 or 4 more yards that day here in DuPont.
Yeah.
And that's without rush hour.
Right.
So Snohomish, Penny, are you looking for someone to do the crane fly treatment, or are you looking for someone to do lawn care?
Okay. So
And we can wait for her comment back in.
Okay. Yep. And then do you have other relationships down in other areas that you refer to?
For lawn care?
Mm-hmm.
Not right now. Most of the guys that I got in the business with have retired. I do have a few other, but with now the day and age of Google, I always recommend that, if you're looking to hire someone outside DuPont, Google the company, look up lawn care in your area, read the reviews, try to stay away from the big, I call them the big 5 companies, but go with the local guys. You tend to get better service. The big thing is nowadays, with our economy and things going on in the world, you want to make sure that people are licensed too. Department of Revenue, Department of L&I. If they're mowing a lawn, they just need to have a business license to mow a lawn. But if they're putting in beauty bark, putting in plants, cutting down trees, they got to have an L&I license. They got to have a bonded contractor's license to do that. So
All right.
Good advice. Very
it
good
becomes a
advice.
liability issue for the insurance too. And for our military folks, I tell them the same thing. You're welcome to hire who you want, but if you hire an individual who's not legal, you've signed a contract with the military. There are repercussions if you're hiring someone who's not legal to work in the U.S. or to do what they're doing. And so just to watch out for them, because I've had some horror stories down here where illegal companies have broken irrigation lines and my clients were away for a week, and I mow on a Monday, but they broke it on a Tuesday. I come back the following Monday and the backyard's all washed out because the irrigation line's broke. And because the guys next door were digging up with a tractor and didn't call dig, nothing else beforehand, and just started doing it without a license. So you want to make sure whoever you hire, they're doing things the right way. It's done legally, at least.
Or you could end up with a pool in your backyard.
Or
Yeah.
a lot worse. Yeah, you can pool in your neighbor's yard. Yes.
Yeah.
And they're probably not going to thank you for that one, though.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that one there, they were actually gone for 2 weeks, and I actually shut down the system and had to bring in some hoses and timers off the hose bib to water the plants for them because we couldn't use the irrigation at first. And I had to talk with the neighbor and take some pictures and wait for the homeowner to get home, because it's not my job is to watch. I watch out for my clients. They know that. If they're gone, they let me know when they're going to be gone. I've got keys to houses. I got garage codes. They've trusted me with those things. And so I kind of watch the home, especially for a lot of our military folks down here who are deployed with a family. They let me know. So if the wife gets sick, they got kids, hey, we'll run to the store for you. What do you need? This is back before Safeway and the other guys started delivering. It's just something we do for our neighbors. They got a flat tire. Hey, I can come put one on for you if you don't have a package through your auto club or your insurance company. I'll come put the spare on for you to get your tire fixed. But some of these things, people are gone. They let me know these things. So we're watching for damage being done to the property or someone trying to gain entry to the property. We've had that happen a couple of times down here where we've got someone trying to break in before too.
Jeff, I'm gonna put your number on my speed dial. Okay.
Yeah, that answer went deeper.
That means I have to unblock it then.
Oh gosh.
Way more than just lawn care.
Yeah,
Way
this
more
is
than
good.
just lawn
I'm
care. It's
learning
love.
about grubs that grub on the roots of grass, and there are crane flies that don't eat mosquito. I mean, like, we're getting schooled here, Jeff.
Well, that's okay. It's to learn. And I think the biggest thing in your guys' industry right now, do you guys do a lot of property management, or is it pretty much just sales?
Mostly sales is where our focus is. We do have some property management relationships too.
Okay,
And
so
a lot of our clients though become property managers, or at least become investors in properties. So
right. And so what I recommend on those a lot of times is if you're going to make it into a rental property, keep it simple. Keep the flower bed simple. You don't want to make an English garden and expect someone to move in there and take care of it like you are, because you and I both know renters won't take care of it like you do. And even the best property manager out there, they're required to keep under the RCWs of Washington the status quo. That's why we all take pictures of our property before we rent it out, or when we move into a property, we take pictures to protect ourselves too. But try to keep some things simple. Keep things that when you plant plants in the ground, go with a 5 or 10 or 15, 20-year view in mind. You don't want to go put a big fir tree right up against your house because you look across the street in the woods and there's one that's 100 feet tall. That's not going to work against your house. So you want to look at things like that. And there's nurseries around here that are really good. There's the Portland Avenue Nursery in Tacoma, Watson's in Puyallup. Watson's is run by a majority of individuals who have horticultural degrees from WSU. You can take a picture of a plant, take a picture of your yard, go down there. They'll walk you through things and give you suggestions, what would work well in our area. Because most of our folks here that are military moving in from elsewhere. You can tell the ones from Texas because they let it all die off. They're not used to having grass. And then they wonder why they're getting hit with a bill when they move out to fix the yard back up, because it's all died out and it won't grow grass anymore. The other thing down here for the real estate is just having the gap mows. So if the owner is moving and vacating the house, but there's still a month before the other people are taking possession of it, we still have to keep the standard of the yard up until they take possession of the house, and not letting it get super, super tall because you want to save a few dollars. But when you come in to mow that super tall grass, you end up doing a lot of damage typically. You're only allowed to take up to 1/4 of the grass height at a time, and then you have to wait a few days before you cut it again. Otherwise,
What happened?
I've had them come in, down here in DuPont, believe it or not, I've had grass as tall as 24 inches. 24 inches tall. Most of those are backyards. They let go. So you got to go in and weed and down some. Then you got to rake it up, and then you got to wait. Because if you try to mow it right away, you take that much off the plant, you will end up killing the grass a lot of the times. And you don't want to do that. So I just tell them, the gap mows, let us know, put us on a schedule, and to say, hey, this is the address. We tell everybody, I do a lot down here for a few of your competitors, real estate companies down here, Home Team and Next Home. I do all their stuff, and they'll just put it on a schedule and let me know the Friday beforehand. If I drive by, I look at it, look at the front, look at the back, and if I'm not going to fill up the grass bag on the lawnmower, I skip it. See you next week. But if it needs to be mowed, it gets mowed, and it's not getting super tall. The other big issue down here is watering. It's hard during the seller moving out and the buyer moving in. It's hard to keep things green, and so just communicating with them, letting them know, let the buyer know, hey, do you want us to throw sprinklers on a timer out here for you until you get in, or what do you want to do? Because the owner can't be responsible for watering if they're not here. That's kind of more of the bigger issues in between the transitions themselves and the home, I see.
That's good. Now that's good advice. I think that another thing too is when you mentioned letting the grass go dormant, and I know and I see homes where it's like, okay, well we'll let the rain take care of the grass. So in the rainy seasons the grass is green, and then in the non-rainy seasons the grass is brown. What are some things, I don't know if that's wrong or right, but what are some things that people don't do right when it comes to lawn care?
When they let it burn off like that, think of any other plant. If you don't water a plant in the garden, what happens to it? It dies all the way down typically. Grass is pretty awesome in the fact that some of the root will stay alive, but the plant itself above the dirt all dies off or goes dormant. That's why it turns brown. That brown doesn't come back to turning green typically. What will happen is the roots will send up new shoots of grass. And if anybody's ever tried pulling grass out of your flower bed, you'll see the different fescue or the rye shoots coming up all over the place when you pull them out like a giant string. And so that will try to come up. But if you notice on a lot of our yards down here, especially we've had as hot a summer as we have this year, you put water on it, the water just seems to sit on top of the ground. It won't even go down into it. And that's because there's so much thatch in these yards. It's almost being like concrete or blacktop on top of the soil. And so the water can't penetrate it that we get from our garden hoses. The science behind it also is your rainwater is at a different pH level than what comes out of our faucet. The rainwater is much softer. And so it's able to penetrate better than the harder water that we get with fluoride, the chlorine and stuff in it from our water fountains. But what ends up happening is over time, as that thatch builds up, it doesn't just go away. You don't suck it up with a lawnmower. You don't really hand rake it out. You can try, but we use what's called a power rake or a dethatching machine. These run about $3,000 if you're buying a really nice one. But it will go through the yard back and forth. And you got to go over it several times. And we tell everybody it's kind of like when a farmer plows a field. You don't see the farmer go out there and just go on top of the dirt with a little coil and drive away. No, they get down in there 12 to 18 inches deep to really break up the soil. And that's what you have to do to dethatch a yard. You've got to get down 2 to 3 inches into the soil to break up all that dead root material and get it out. And there's different ways to do it. We've been doing this many years, a lot of them. We stand behind our work doing them, and we do them for some of the HOA stuff down here, and a lot of the real estate companies fixing them up when renters move out that didn't take care of the yard that was a nice green yard beforehand.
When you say that,
yeah,
is that going that deep, 12 to 18 inches? Because how deep is the irrigation?
Not us. We don't go 12. I'm saying a farmer out in the field. If you go to Eastern Washington, watch them plow the corn and the wheat fields, the soy fields in the Midwest, they're down 12 to 18 inches in soil. We're down 2 to 3 inches in the soil here. Your irrigation lines are supposed to be 12 to 18 inches down. up to 2 feet. Your gas lines are 2 feet to 30 inches down typically. The utilities are different, you know. That's why you have to call 811 dig, because there are some people. I've got a couple of yards. I've got one down here off of Hoffman. Her husband installed the line. He's passed away. Not to talk bad about him, but he literally put the line 2 inches below the soil. Well, over the years and raining, you mow, you're literally running a lawnmower right on top of that pipe, and it continually is breaking. And so finally, we just told her it's just better just discontinue that section and change out the heads and change some things different, because you're going to dig out the whole front yard otherwise. But they're supposed to be, but dethatch, you really want to get on it, you know. And I tell everybody, when we dethatch a yard, you want to be able to walk around all different points of that yard and put your finger in dirt. If it's not in dirt and it's still in kind of a netted material, that's still thatch. So sometimes you got to go north to south, south to north, east to west, west to east, back and forth over the yard, different directions to get all that out of there. You'd be amazed in some of these yards. I've had my dump truck down here in some of these yards just carrying away the thatch from the yards because there's so much in there. You walk on some of these yards and it feels like you're walking on a giant sponge. And those, sometimes we have to get a sod cutter in to cut the sod out, because you'll never dethatch that. It's so bad. And that's from over fertilization.
Wow.
This has been like a master class in gardening here and just everything. I think we could, like, Jeff, you could do a class here.
And Steve, there's a question.
I've done a few. Kim, on your question, you would have to go through and look at the yard, the soil on top. Can you get down? Is it thatch? When you're digging in with a finger or a screwdriver, if the thatch is thicker than a 1/2 inch thick on the yard, and that's a dead root material before you get to plain dirt, then it needs to be dethatched. Just throwing grass seed on it and expecting it to come in looking like a nice lawn is like putting Dawn dish soap on your car in November and expecting the rain to make it look like it's highly detailed. It's just not going to work. So you got to look at the soil. If you can get down to the soil, yes, by all means, you can reseed. You poke some holes in the ground to help it get the seed down a little bit deeper. The other big mistake when people reseed is seed has to be kept moist. So you got to water it 2 to 3 times a day, just for about 5 to 7 minutes. But if you let that new seed dry out, it cracks the seed and it dies. So it doesn't germinate like you want it to.
When's the best time of year to actually do that?
I recommend always doing mine in the spring, because the fall is kind of a gamble, if you will, because you want to make sure the plants have had time to grow. The new grasses had time to grow and the roots have had time to grow as well. Because if you think about it, there's plants we don't plant in our garden in the fall and winter time, not necessarily because of lack of light, but because the cold temperatures and the danger of frost would kill it. You freeze a tomato, what happens? It just splits apart, right? Same with that new grass shoot that's coming up out of the ground. If it hasn't had time to get rooted in there, and the seeds carrying all that moisture, and the roots just start to carry the moisture to the top of the ground, and it freezes, it'll kill it off.
Wow,
so I always recommend spring. This time of year, you can throw down a good fall fertilizer to help it come in some. Also, there's stuff called soil sweetener or lime. All of our yards can use a little bit of that anyway. It's a natural product. You can get it at most every hardware store. If you have fir trees, you're going to want to put it on 2 to 3 times a year, because your fir trees drop more acid from the pitch and changes the pH level of your soil. And that's why grass doesn't grow, but weeds like to grow and moss likes to grow under the big trees. But putting that lime down there, you'll bring that pH level up where you want it, where the grass will grow and the weeds and the moss don't want to grow as much.
Okay, so
Jeff, this is like a master class.
The weed killer. So no.
It's not a weed killer. It's not a weed killer. It's kind of like taking your vitamins. It doesn't cure your disease, but it helps prevent the disease. That's what lime will do. Okay. Lime also helps your fertilizers break down, kind of like insulin does with sugar for a diabetic. So that's a good product to have. Other weed killers, that's up to the individuals to research that. There are natural ways to go. Grandma's old way of hot water or using vinegar. But as a company, we cannot do that because it is not licensed by the Washington State Department of Agriculture for pesticides.
Okay.
Yeah. You're totally learning a huge amount. So we just got to, you know what? We definitely will want to have you back, because we're just hitting our time for this segment. But this is Jeff. This is fantastic.
Jeff, if
you.
you
Thank
want
you
to
for
ask
having me on.
questions,
Yes.
where could they
What's that?
reach you if they have any questions?
The best way is by my cell phone number. Do you have that by chance still on you?
We do. Did you?
Okay, yeah.
Did you? Mhm.
If you want to give it to them, that's fine. And then the best way is to text me, because if you call me, my voicemail box fills up by about 10 o'clock every day, and again by about 2:30, 3 o'clock every day. So
Okay. Did you want us
Verizon and their infinite Wednesday. What's that?
did you want us to put that number out there, or
Sure.
do you want us
Yeah.
to? Okay. All right. Go ahead and
Yeah, it's 253-229-3728. And just feel free to text me if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you have. If specific stuff, you want to snap a photo and send it to me in a text message, I can look at that and reply back to you as well. But that's the best way to get a hold of me, is by text message.
Awesome.
Like it. It's fantastic. And Jared should be putting that number up in just a moment. And Kim says thank you and very informational.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Donna says
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much. Yeah. So have a great day. And I know you've been sitting on the side of the road, and you got to get back onto the lawn service work. So thanks for the time.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. You guys have a great day.
You too.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you,
You too.
Jeff.
Bye, Jeff. We wow. I think that's the most I've ever learned about a lawn in 30 minutes.
Right?
Yeah.
All kinds of crazy nuggets and knowledge that Jeff was
And
dropping.
He's bringing the Grubhub.
Yeah. Right. Well, you know what? He has a passion for that. I mean, he obviously knows
think
what
so?
he's doing. And
I don't know. He didn't seem at all very into it. I mean, it's
you know,
I
Yeah,
almost
I
felt
was-
like he's like the community service person for DuPont.
mhm.
You know, it's not, lawn is just part of it, but it seems like he delivers groceries, takes care of all these other little miscellaneous things around the
Mhm.
city. That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty cool. All right, so we have a trivia question.
we does.
Yes.
He does. According to the survey, the average homeowner devotes how many hours per month on lawn care work? Per month.
Now, Jurgen, you said that it includes hiring someone.
No, I said, doesn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, because I would consider that time that I've spent on it, because literally I've spent on it.
That's money you spent on it.
But
Yeah.
I spent money for time.
Right. Time is money, right?
I'm going 12 hours. 12,
I'm with-
25.
I said 12 also. We had A's and C's in the chat,
Yeah.
and we've had A's and C's here. So I think Jurgen, you're C.
Yeah. And with all the heat, AC works really well. Christina thinks A. Let's see.
2 hours per week. That's kind of what I'm looking at. 2 hours.
That's what
per
I'm looking
week.
at. Like a 2 hours. If you do it once a week and it's a couple hours a week, then that adds up. It doesn't add up quite to 12, but you know.
Yeah, 2 is 3 hours, I guess
Yeah.
is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Interesting.
You can't change
We're
All
your
gonna
right.
have to get an answer.
What's the
No.
answer?
What is the answer?
But I will say,
Whoa.
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 32 hours. That's like
32
Oh,
hours.
full-time job.
You know what?
Don't
If
these
you
people
would
got
have,
jobs?
here's the thing. If I would have known it was the New York Post poll, I would have had a different answer.
Oh, whatever.
And if I knew it was the New York Post survey, I just knew it was a survey. So I thought it was like little Johnny from down the street, like asking the
Oh my
neighbors.
God. 32 hours? Right? What?
That's more than an hour a day. I guess,
What?
but what does that mean? Does that
Wait, are
is
you-
lawn
is it
care
a
like
week? Wait a
watering your
minute.
lawn?
That's a month. 32 hours a month, right?
Yeah,
That was-
A month.
But that's
Okay.
more than an hour a day. So does that
Okay.
include like watering the grass and everything too?
I can explain.
Okay.
I got additional information.
Okay. Thanks, Jared.
So According to the survey done by the New York Post, this is how they broke it down. So out of the people they got the information from, they spent 3 hours a month edging, 4 hours pulling weeds, 4 more hours tending to the garden, 3 hours laying mulch, 4 hours watering the lawn, and 8 hours doing additional miscellaneous tasks on the lawn, equaling 32 hours in total.
Watering the lawn was a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
So like even the irrigation when it's going off on its own is watering the lawn.
He didn't say that, Jurgen.
He did. He said watering the lawn.
But he didn't say sprinklers. He said watering.
That is watering the lawn. Unless they're standing out there with a garden hose.
You're reading in between the lines, okay?
I have to because it's the New York Post.
However we can skew the numbers.
Wow.
I'm just lucky it didn't say like 60 hours a month.
Yeah, and then like you said 32 hours, and then I'm like, then it automatically went a week. I'm thinking 40 hours a week. Like, when do they have time to work? You know?
Yeah, about 5 minutes a month they spent like picking up debris that fell in the yard, and then about 20 minutes they spent like just kicking the grass, picking up the croquet set, and
man.
All right, you guys.
No,
so we got some
fun.
events coming up.
Yes.
We do. What do we got this week going on? Jared, do we have
do we go to that, or are we talking about something wrapping up this weekend?
Yeah, let's do that.
Oh, let's talk about wrapping up this weekend.
Yeah, and then we literally have like 5 minutes. Steve, I know you have a presentation that you're doing here shortly, right? So
I am.
Yeah, so we literally have like 5 minutes, and and so let's do it.
Okay. Do you want me to share the screen for the wheel?
Absolutely. So what is it first? What are we doing? Why are we spinning a wheel?
Because at this past weekend, Hudson Bay Heritage Days, we had a booth there, and we had a couple contests going, and if you commented the name of your favorite, I think, vendor or barbecue pitmaster, you were entered in to win a drawing for a $50 Amazon gift card. And so we have everyone that entered, and I'm pulling up the wheel with the names of everyone.
A big barbecue festival at Clock Tower Park in DuPont.
Yeah.
People from all across the state and across the nation and across the world. Well, maybe not.
No, it was really a big event. And vendors, the pitmasters, they literally camped out at the park over the weekend, and so it was pretty cool. So we have some people that actually voted for their favorite barbecue vendor and their favorite vendor. And so we've got some of those names. We have those names on the wheel, and we're spinning. Is that what we're doing here?
Yep. I'll click the spin. So, you ready?
Yep.
Ready.
All right.
Round and round she goes. Where she stops, nobody knows.
Now this person wins a $50 Amazon gift card.
Correct.
John Rivera.
Congratulations, John.
Congratulations, John. You are a winner of a $50 Amazon gift card. Thank you for participating. Yay.
And Jared, who won the very best barbecue as voted? It's way more important than judges who are like hoity-toity and they like do all. What did the people say was the best barbecue?
I believe it was Tin Hut Barbecue.
Fantastic.
Oh, okay.
They got voted.
Okay.
Tin Hut, you can win with the critics, but more importantly, you win when you have the people.
All right. Tin Hut and I heard that Tin Hut Barbecue is coming to DuPont.
Correct.
Ooh, what?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Their grand opening hopefully will be in actually September. I think end of September they're shooting for.
You're gonna have barbecue in DuPont. Whoa. Okay.
With a capital Q.
Yeah. So We're gonna get them on here too, right?
Hopefully, yeah.
All right.
I want some beef ribs.
Some
I
barbecue.
love baby backs, but I want some beef ribs.
I love beef ribs. Good, tender. Yeah, juicy.
I'm sorry, it's too early for me to be thinking about ribs. I'm not gonna be able to think about anything else all day.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
you know what? We have congratulations to John. Was it Rivera?
Yeah, John Rivera. So we'll be reaching out to him probably right after this.
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay. Actually, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up now.
Yep.
We'll be back on Friday with our market update, and so we'll just wrap it up and get on with our wonderful Monday morning. But there are a couple words that we say before we do that.
Be bold is the word.
Yeah.
All right.
You know,
I'll calm it down.
your hand was on there with flair. Let's put the be bold up there.
Be bold. All right, you guys, on the count of 3, as we always end it, thank you again for tuning in. We'll do this again next week, Monday. Appreciate you guys tuning in. 1, 2, 3. Be bold.
Be bold.
Bye, you guys. Have a great week.